So buddy, it's what Jim, and this is one of my last videos I'll be doing in this house we are in currently, and it is for my top 5 favourite Bob Dylan songs. This will also be my own opinion. You can also let me know yours in the comment section below. You can let me know your top 10, your top 5, your top 3, or just your favourite. You can go ahead and let me know. I'll be really curious to see what your favourite Bob Dylan song is, as there's so many Bob Dylan songs out there. This is also going to include some mentions, my 10th favourite Bob Dylan song, all the way to my 6th favourite. And before we do that, I want to talk about the Bob Dylan albums I've actually listened to, and I'll do my top 5 while we're here as well. We're going to go with what year these albums were released and what I rate them out of 10. And we'll start off with the first Bob Dylan album, released in 1962. I rate it a 9 out of 10. I thought it was a really good, I thought it was an amazing start to his career. It does have some cover songs, but I think that he did the covers very well here. I've not actually heard the original versions. When I move on to the second Bob Dylan album, released in 1963, let's do this. So Bob Dylan's second album is The Freewheelin' Bob Dylan. I rate that a 9.25 out of 10. And the third one I listened to was, well, the third one on this list is, because I've listened to it in a different order than it is on here. So it's times they were changing from 1964. That one I think is a masterpiece. I give it a 10 out of 10. And then this is one of the best album trilogies that happened in with these 3 albums, and it took 14 months for these albums to come out. That's crazy. 14 months isn't that long, really. So you've got Bringing It All Back Home from 1965, 10 out of 10 for me. Then it's Highway 61 Revisited, 1965. I give this one a 10 out of 10 as well. Blonde on Blonde from 1966. It's a double album, and I give that one a 10 out of 10. And then Planet Waves from 1974. So that's the trilogy now ended. So Planet Waves from 1974. I give that one a 10 out of 10. I think it's quite an underrated Bob Dylan album. And then we've got another Bob Dylan classic, Blood on the Tracks from 1975. I rate this one a 10. Desire from 1976, another 10. Infidels from 1983, a 9 out of 10. Time Out of Mind for 1997, again, I think another underrated Bob Dylan album. That one's a 10 for me. Shadows in the Night, which came out in 2015, and it's a Frank Sinatra cover album. It's my least favourite Bob Dylan albums I've listened to so far, so I give that one an 8.25 out of 10. I still do enjoy it quite a bit. And now we're going on. Now they're all the ones I've listened to. So now we'll get to it with my top 5 favourite Bob Dylan albums. This is my own opinion for these. You can let me know yours in the comment section below. But for me, my number 5 is Time Out of Mind from 1997. All of these are a 10, by the way. So there's no point in mentioning that. But I think this is a very underrated album. I really enjoy the production on this, and the thing. That's why a lot of people are the biggest fan of the album, is because of the production. But I really enjoy the production here. It's got so many incredible songs. The Lowlands is an excellent long song. You've also got Make You Feel My Love, which Adele covered. That's my favourite song from here. But I also absolutely love Not Dark Yet. That song gets to me just as much as Make You Feel My Love. And now my number 4 is Blood on the Tracks from 1975. What can I say? It's a very well received Bob Dylan album. I think this is one that sold the most copies, and it was like his 15th album or something. It was something like that. But I just absolutely love Blood on the Tracks. My favorite song from it is Tangled Up in Blue. But I also love, I just love pretty much every single song on here. I think it's called The Rosemary and the Jack of Hearts. Or was it Rosemary and Lily and the Jack of Hearts? That one I absolutely love. I just love the whole album, really. So I also want to mention about Idiot Wind. That's another one that I think is absolutely incredible. They're my 3 favourites, and it's Lily, Rosemary and the Jack of Hearts. I've actually got the track listing here to make sure I spelled that right. And to make sure see what other songs are on the album. And Idiot Wing, it is another one that stands out for me as well. But all these songs I do think are absolutely incredible. Now I'll move on to my number 3. Sorry if it sounded weird then, I actually just sneezed. So my number 3 is Bringing It All Back Home from 1965. 10 out of 10, absolutely brilliant. My favourite song from it is Mr Tambourine Man. It may or may not appear later in this video, you never know. I just absolutely love the whole really subterranean homesick blues. You could say it's sort of like the first rap song, and I just absolutely love how quick Bob Dylan's doing those lines in the song. It's just really incredible. And I think from start to finish, it's just an incredible Bob Dylan album for me. I think this is quite an underrated album as well. But I also love Maggie's Farm, She Belongs to Me, Bob Dylan's 115th Dream. I just love that he's laughing at the beginning of it. When I first heard that, I was laughing with him. It was just a really cool surprise as well. But I'm looking at the track listing here. But I do love all these songs. I also love It's Alright Mom, When You're Bleeding. That one does get to me. So yeah, I just think it's just an incredible album. It's my favourite of the three I've just mentioned so far, but it's not my favourite Bob Dylan album. A couple more are. So my number two is Blonde on Blonde, the double LP from 1966. It's got to be a 10. A lot of people say that There's Some Blood in the Tracks is Bob Dylan's best album, and I can see where they're honestly coming from. But for me, Blonde on Blonde, I absolutely just love it from beginning to end. It's an album that I come back to very often. Not listen to it all the way through, but listen to it all the way through once when I first heard it. But I love the songs I Want You, Just Like a Woman. That song gets me every single time. It's just there's just so many amazing songs in this album. I also really love the first song, Rainy Day Women, number 12 and number 35. I also love One of Us Must Know, Sooner or Later, in brackets. I also love Fourth Time Around. They're my favourites, but also Sad Eyed Lady of the Lowlands is one of my favourites as well. But yeah, it's just an incredible double album that if you're not listening to, if you got the time, I definitely highly recommend to listen to it. But my favourite is from this other album from 1965, and that is Highway 61 Revisited. I've actually got this I've got first pressing of this album, and I basically found it in a vinyl fair, and I thought, oh, I've got to get this. It's meant to be one of Bob Dylan's best albums. I never heard of it before. The only song I'd heard of from it was, of course, Like a Rolling Stone. And then when I heard it, I was just honestly really blown away. And it got me really into Bob Dylan, listening to that album, even though I had already just listened to the Essential Bob Dylan album, which is a brilliant best of or greatest hits for Bob Dylan, and I'll link the album down below in the description because I think it's got a brilliant track listing in that compilation album. But it's just what can I really say about like Highway 61 Visited that hasn't really been said. It's just a brilliant album. The lyrics are amazing all the way through. The instrumentation, I think, is its best with this Bob Dylan album. I think his vocals are very great, and he's just peak in his career with this album. So the 60s is actually my favourite decade for Bob Dylan. 1965, I think, is his best year, and you also had the Beatles being brilliant in that year as well. I think it's my favourite year for the Beatles. But I love Ballad of a Thin Man, Queen Journey Approximately, Highway 61 Revisited, Desolation Row. I might as well just mention all the songs. Tombstone Blues, From a Buick 6. It takes a lot to laugh, takes a lot to cry, and just like Tom Thumb's Blues. I mean, they're all the songs, all the known songs, but what an experience while you listen to it. I mean, if you're not listening to a Bob Dylan album, listen to the Essential Bob Dylan, then listen to this one. Unless you just want to do it in chronological order, but this is just my favourite, and a lot of other people's favourites as well. But now we'll go through my 10th favourite Bob Dylan song, all the way to my 6th, and we'll go more in depth with my top 5 Bob Dylan songs. My number 10 favourite Bob Dylan song is If Not For You. Number 9 is a slow version of Forever Young. Number 8 is Knocking on Heaven's Door. Number 7 is I Want You. And number 6 is Make You Feel My Love. And now we'll go more in depth with my top 5. I will start off with my number 5. So number 5 is one of his more iconic songs, and that is The Times They Are Changing, from, of course, The Times They Are Changing, released in 1964. I just absolutely love this song. I love the messaging. I love the meaning. I love the lyrics. I think the instrumentation is brilliant with the acoustic guitar and the harmonica. Two of some of my favorite instruments there. I absolutely love acoustic guitars and harmonicas. Um, it's just a brilliant song. Really, I think his vocals are amazing. I think it's just a brilliant, powerful song that it does get to me every time I listen to it, and it's just a brilliant Bob Dylan song. There's not really much else I can really say about it. I just absolutely love it. Number four, The Answer, My Friend, is Blowing in the Wind. My number four is Blowing in the Wind from the freewheeling Bob Dylan album released in 1963. I just absolutely love Blowing in the Wind as well. Love the instrumentation here. And I love the meaning, the messaging behind this one as well, and the vocals as well. To me, I love this one nearly as much as Times They Were Changing. I just prefer Blowing in the Wind just a little bit more. I think because I like I just like the lyrics a bit more in Blowing in the Wind. The answer, my friend, is Blowing in the Wind. The answer is Blowing in the Wind. That bit of the song gets me every time. It's just a brilliant song, and its harmonica I think is used slightly better here than it is in Times They Are Changing. But we now move on to my number three. My number three is Just Like a Woman. Yeah, my number three is Just Like a Woman from London Blonde, released in 1966. I absolutely love it. The harmonica this is one of the best uses of a harmonica. It's brilliant in this song. The instrumentation is absolutely excellent as well. The lyrics are brilliant, and it's just a perfect love song, and it's in my top 100 songs of all time. Probably always will be. When I first heard it in the Essential Bob Dylan album, I was just honestly blown away. I thought this song was absolutely incredible. I think his vocals is one of the best here, and it's just a brilliant Bob Dylan song that I kind of want to listen to again after this video. I just absolutely love it that much. My number two is from Bringing It All Back Home. I was going to say Blood and Tracks, but Bringing It All Back Home from 1965, and that is Mr Tambourine Man. Oh, where do I start with Mr Tambourine Man? This is probably the first Bob Dylan song I knew. I heard it in a radio when I was young. I'm not even sure if it was a Bob Dylan version. It might have even been the Birds cover, which I do prefer the Bob Dylan version of Mr Tambourine Man, the original, the classic. The harmonica, I think this is the best harmonica song ever. I think the harmonica is used the best here than in any other song. I love just the really deep, meaningful lyrics. I just love the lyrics in all these Bob Dylan songs, really. I think his lyrics are pretty much perfect in every song he's done. That's why I rated so many albums 10. It's really just because of his powerful and potent and just really incredible lyrics. He won the Nobel Prize for literature for a reason. He's one of the best poets and songwriters of our generation, of ever, really. I don't think. I think he's up there with the Beatles. I just prefer the Beatles slightly more to Bob Dylan. But back to the song, I think this is one of my favourite choruses in any song, and I think Bob Dylan's voice just sounds really amazing here as well, and it's just the whole instrumentation is just absolutely excellent. This is just a fantastic song that it does get to me. It's not a particularly sad song, but I think it's just a meaningful lyrics and his vocals and the brilliant use of harmonica here. That's why it gets to me, and it's just an extraordinary song. It's in my top 20 songs of all time. It's not my top 20, but it's very close to being my top 20 songs of all time. It's just absolutely amazing. It blows me away every time I listen to it. Maybe I should have said that for Blowing in the Wind, because blowing in the wind. It's not really very good pun there. But my number one is from Highway 66, Revisited. What else could it be other than Like a Rolling Stone? I mean, this is just peak 60s and peak Bob Dylan with this song here. I keep sometimes forgetting to call the album Highway 61 Visited. I sometimes like to call it Like a Rolling Stone, because the song just stands out to me that much, really. It just stands the test of time, really. The harmonica and the rest of the instrumentation is done brilliantly here. It's one of the best instrumentations I think I've ever heard. It's not my favourite use of a harmonica, but all the other instruments are just absolutely exceptional. The lyrics are amazing. It is a long song. It's 6 minutes. Well, Mr Tambourine Man is 5 minutes, but this is 6 minutes. But it honestly goes quick, and it tells a story from beginning to end. As opposed to Mr Tambourine Man does tell a complete story as well, but the story is just about a woman who had everything really, and then towards the end of the song, she doesn't have anything in the rest of the song. Then, so in the beginning, she has everything she wants, and then after about 30 seconds in or something, it might have been quicker than that. Um, Everything just goes downhill with her really, and I just absolutely love the story. I love the lyrics. This might not be as meaningful to me as Mr Tambourine Man, and Mr Tambourine Man does get to me a bit more, um, but I still just absolutely love Like a Rolling Stone, and it's just a classic 60s song and a classic Bob Dylan song. So to me, it deserves to be my favourite Bob Dylan song. But believe me, I've been umming and ahhing for ages, whether it's this or Mr Tambourine Man. Those two, I think, are very, very close, even closer than Blowing in the Wind and Time Zero Changing to be my number 5 and number 4. But these top 5 songs I could just listen to every single day. I think might get a bit bored to listen to every single day, but I do listen to them very often. And like a Rolling Stone, it's in my top 10 songs of all time. It's actually my 8th favourite song. It used to just be like my 20th favourite or 19th favourite. Now it's got all the way to my 8th favourite because I love it that much, and it's just a fantastic and iconic song. But there we go. We've got ahead talked about all the Bob Dylan albums I've listened to, what year they released, what I rate them out of 10, what top 5 albums, what were top 5 Bob Dylan albums, and what the year they released, what I rate them out of 10. I've done my top 5 favourite Bob Dylan songs with 5 honourable mentions. Oof, that's a lot to take in, but I'm so happy that we finally got there. So again, the essential Bob Dylan albums in the description below. You can let me know what Bob Dylan albums you listen to, what you rate them out of 10, what your favourite Bob Dylan album is, what your top 5 is, what your top 5 favourite songs from Bob Dylan are, your top 10, your favourite. You can let me know all of that in the comment section below. I would love to see other people's opinions, but please be respectful of other people's opinions, as I'll be very respectful as well. But that's really all I say here. To be honest, I'm out of breath doing all that talking, but there's a lot to get through because Bob Dylan's just got so many incredible songs and so many incredible albums. I mean, he's had one of the best careers ever, to be honest, and he's still bringing out albums. I'm not sure if he's going to be bringing out any more albums, but he's done so many albums that are rated 10. He's done more albums that are rated 10 than the Beatles have, but the Beatles were only together for 1 decade, so that might have changed if they were together in the 70s and 80s. Who knows? But Bob Dylan, I think he's up there with the Beatles, but I just personally prefer the Beatles. I feel like I just prefer their songs to Bob Dylan. Really, that's just all I've got to say. But I think Bob Dylan's just one of the best. He's one of the best poets and like I said, he won the Literature Nobel Prize for a reason. He's that good. But that's really all I'll say for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. This is a very long video. I didn't think it was going to be this long. By the way, my top 5 favourite Bob Dylan songs are going to be linked in the description below with the music videos to watch on YouTube. But if I can't find them on there, it'll be the link to them on Spotify. But I'm assuming I will be able to find them on YouTube. I guess you have to look at the description and find out. But I'm sure it will be the YouTube links. We'll just have to wait and see. I want to also mention that I've got a Bob Dylan signed picture. I've had this for a while now, but I actually bought it while I was listening to Highway 61 Visited for the first time. I think it was the Tom Blues, the Tom Thumb blues song that my dad, well, I was listening to that at the time when my dad was on eBay and he found a signed Bob Dylan picture. So I went ahead and bought that, and I'm so glad I have. You seen a picture of it now, but I've got all 4 Chandler Wilbury's signed pictures except for one being George Harrison. So I've not got all 5, but I have got 4 of them, and I'm just really happy the fact that I've got this, and I might do a video showing the collection of all the autographs I've got from musicians. We'll just have to go ahead and wait and see, but that's it. That's all I'm going to say here, but I thought I'll go ahead and mention it as this is a Bob Dylan themed video. That's all I'm going to say here. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe and comment. Peace out and ciao. The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer's blowing in the wind. The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is what? The gym.